What's been like the biggest benefit you received like mentally from your fitness journey?
Probably mental clarity, it would be. Just knowing and discipline. Mental clarity, discipline, and emotional regulation, I would say.
That's a very interesting word you use. Why do you say emotional regulation?
Because in fitness, you have to control your mind, control the body. So when we control our mind, it translates to controlling the body. So when emotions arise to do something or say something, you think about it before you actually come out and say it, or you think about it before you actually move on that emotion. And you learn that in fitness through weightlifting, right? Boxing, jiu-jitsu, yoga, whatever it may be. There's different channels of fitness. That's a beautiful thing. So once you get started, just to start getting healthy already, then you have those micro channels where you find each individual person finds their own passion in those and they can pursue them.
I see, yeah. So what channels did you find the most passion in?
So I started off just, weightlifting. I think a lot of people start like that, just, push-ups, pull-ups, and then I fell in love with running a lot. I did some jiu-jitsu. I love boxing too, and more endurance-based sports, because that's like running, for example. You're alone. You don't have that kind of support system always. So it's you, your mind, and those emotions, whatever you're feeling, you're taking them onto the pavement, onto the street with you. And then once you run that 4 miles with those emotions and stuff, once you come back, you already feel like a different person.
True. Have you feel like those traits that you're mentioning, are they transferable to like other sports or other physical activities?
Yeah, I think they are. And that's like one of them was yoga for me. I got into yoga beginning of this year, and I would never imagine doing yoga or, Pilates class. Like Pilates, people tell me, isn't that a girl's sport? I'm like, actually, Pilates was founded by a man.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's a very hard sport, because there's a certain, if you take it with a certain like discipline and maturity, right? If you're in there to train, that's a training facility and training ground, and those positions that the instructor's telling you to put your body and mind into, it's very challenging to the mind and body. And another good thing is because you can't have your phone in there. The instructors are saying, put it away, put it face down. So you really have to be present and focused in the moment when you're attending a yoga or Pilates class. And that's been a big game changer for me, because it's challenged me both mentally and physically. Because even if you're strong, you're still shaking in a certain position, or as soon as your mind loses balance, you feel like agitated, you start moving, and then they say come back to your breath, come back to the moment, come back to being present, so you can recalibrate and refocus. And then you transition that into the real world.
True.
Those lessons.
100%. Yeah, I noticed let's just say with weights, let's just say whenever you're under that pressure, whenever you gotta lift like a huge amount of weight, those emotions arise. So now that you mentioned let's just say physical activities help you to emotionally regulate, what part of it do you think, what part of you do you think it helps you to regulate that? Like, how do you regulate that, the emotions? Some people crumble under that pressure,
Yeah, I think have to build up to it. You regulate in the sense of, let's say if someone bumps into you in the market, right, supermarket, or some guy's looking at you a certain way, you road rage. So those are when you take on those things, like take a moment, breathe before you respond and react to that, because you make a nanosecond decision, can be the wrong decision that can change the trajectory of your life forever. So that's when it's like under that barbell pressure, or pull-ups, when your hands are all calloused up and you're tired, you're like, okay, let me pause, let me take a minute before I say something stupid. And that's like how I've connected it to each other.
Yeah, I 100% agree, because I feel like those emotional regulations, as you said, like a lot of the times people, since they cannot control those emotions, they end up doing something crazy. As you said, they may do some things that regret for like decades, for their whole lifetime. And I feel like, as you said, it's like instead of reacting to it, you need to respond to it, because it's like you're coming from a conscious and intentional perspective, rather than just reacting out of just pure anger or a certain emotion,
Yeah, it's very true.
And let's just say, you said you did jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Whenever someone's choking you out, you gotta in that pressure, you gotta come up with a solution,
It's a very humbling experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Or boxing too. Like we have at one of the gyms here in Glendale, it's you have some ladies that train that are killer instincts. They know what they're doing. So it's like you drop your hand for a split second, you're getting a light tap to the face, and that wakes you up a little bit.
Exactly.
It ego checks you, to say the least. That's the beauty of it. And just the environment, right? Like any fitness gym you go into, it's such a humbling, and everyone's there to get great, become better, and that's why I love it, because it's like everyone's trying to get better.
100%.
No matter what level they're on, it doesn't matter. You can be in the best shape. Someone could be their first day at the gym, but give them a hand. That's what. If they didn't do that for us, we wouldn't even be here speaking now. We've had so many souls that have touched our lives that I don't even know them. Just random strangers. But that's what's great about it.
It may have been a video from 5 years ago that you don't remember, but like it maybe changed you. Like to help you, like I guess make a certain decision, and then later on that decision benefited you like a lot.
100%.
It can be a book, like a friend, because the way I started gym was like a friend, like at high school. It was like, why are you like playing this much video games? Just go to the gym, For some people, it may be like a teacher or a parent or a friend. But I think, as you said, everybody collectively, if we help each other, we can like definitely allow each other to, I guess, become our best selves.
Yeah.
But I remember, I want to go back to the topic that you were mentioning about emotional regulation.
Sure.
The reason I'm like very big on this, because I feel like there is like a huge culture of like, I guess, people taking emotion out of things, like meaning like you should just like completely abandon it. And I feel like that actually hinders our performance, in the sense of like we're not actually doing it for the sake of we love it to do. We're just doing it for I guess to do it. It's like a systematic thing.
You become like a robot.
Yeah, there's a difference of like actually not reacting with the emotions and doing things with the emotions.
Correct.
How was your experience with balancing that?
Well, I think we're all still working on it, right? So one person that I've learned a lot from was actually Professor Andrew Huberman. He's a big neuroscientist, talks about emotions and stuff. He studied the body and the mind especially. And, just practicing on myself. But like one of the videos, he was saying you need happy and sad emotions. That's what people don't. If it's only happy and positive and uplifting, that's not good either, because then it's like a fake fantasy. The world is not like that, right? Life is going to hit all of us in the face.
100%.
And God forbid you get that phone call. A loved one got sick. A loved one got hurt. A loved one passed away in a car accident, right? You never know. It changes on a nanosecond, on a dime, we say. But that's when, like the years of fitness training and the discipline, God forbid, when you get that phone call, you try to keep it together still. And you need both sides. Like some of our workouts have been under negative emotions, let's say, or I don't feel like going at all. They still tell me, Alec, how does that happen? You're so disciplined, or for you, right? You guys are in good shape. I'm like, we still get hit with that emotion. I say, whenever I park the car, I have that negative self-talk sometimes, like, I don't want to train today. And then some of the best workouts are the ones in those states, right? You go because you see your subconscious picks up on the homies that are training. You say hi, and then you get that energy going already, and you start working out. And it checks itself. But you need that too. You need to feel a little bit hungry, sad, depleted sometimes, to feel like then when you eat and you replenish your electrolytes and stuff, you feel the sensation of what it feels like to be really healthy.
Exactly.
And because without one, you don't have the other one, right? So that's why it's very important, I think, to understand negative emotions also, and to see where they're coming from, learn from them. And I was just thinking about it myself too the other day. You have to live with them, because they're not going to go away.
Exactly.
There's a lot of negative people and haters out there, and unfortunately, some people think that way, which is fine. You just learn from them, live with it. That's all you can do. Don't focus on it, but it's part of life. Everyone experiences them. There isn't a person that doesn't. The anxiety and negative emotions. It's just we have to deal with them.
Exactly. No, I agree 100%, because sometimes, like, whenever you're trying to do your best with can be whatever you're doing, and then people perceive things differently.
100%.
And they react differently, And you said, like, life isn't just happy every day or sad every day. It's just, like, up and down. There's, like, highs and the lows. And I think a lot of people attach themselves to those highs and the lows too much. And I think when you're able to kind of detach yourself from those, what is it called, binary outcomes, you're able to kind of see things clearly,
Yeah.
because I feel like negative, positive things, it's a very human-made thing that you're saying. Like it's a very man-made, I guess, idea. You know, like if you are able to like detach, you're like, oh, things are just happening. Like if you just, you're like, things are just are. You know, like let's just say there's like a war going on between two sides. This side is bad and the other side is good, and for them, this side is bad and they're good. You know, so it's how we perceive things.
That's
but I
very
feel like
true.
exactly. So I feel like if you're able to just detach, that allows us to like make the best decisions, and also, as you said, like the emotions are going to be there regardless. So why not be conscious about it and direct it towards the direction that you want? You know.
Correct, and that's like fitness is the best one. So when you feel that negative emotion or someone made you upset at work, that, you go on that long run, you go on that weightlifting session, right? You have that, use that energy from them, turn that negative into something positive. Remember the naysayers in those sets that are hurting.
Exactly.
Right, that's how we push hard, and we put that on the mental Rolodex, they say. So you use them as fuel. That's what I do. Like the last couple of miles, let's say for a marathon or whatever, hard, I remember. I'm like, oh, there's so many people that probably don't want to see me win. Or the other side, there's so many people that don't have it, that don't have two functional legs. That's very inspiring. You're seeing this person, I saw like last LA Marathon, a blind person running. I'm like, what's that guy's excuse? Imagine he's blind. We're running with the sticks. So I'm like, that person has it worse than me. I have no excuses. I'm going to finish. Like, you get motivated, you know, driven on a different level.
100%. That's true. We sometimes take a lot of blessings. We don't really consider them. We feel like we just don't really pay attention to it. We just got to be more grateful, you know?
Giving gratitude to the small things, especially, I think.
For sure.
That helps a lot.
You said marathons. How were you dealing with those difficulties and obstacles when you were doing those marathons? Because you said you did too.
Yeah, they were life-changing, honestly. I'm getting ready for my third one now, and I've learned so much from the first two. Just the community, again, the environment. You meet so many like-minded people, and a little bit friendly, competitive, you know, state, right? I'm like, oh, that person's running faster than me. Oh, you know, what are they wearing? What shoes are they? What electrolytes do they drink, right? So you try to learn like that, but just the environment of, you know, running through the beautiful cities, and you see random strangers helping random people. Hey, bro, you're good. You need a water electrolyte. They give you oranges, you know, as you're running down the path. It's like you look out for each other, and then you have this big goal of 3 miles you have to finish at a certain time, right?
Is that 50 kilometers?
I think so, yeah, around there. And you learn a lot about yourself, right? I learned a lot about my own body and how to, you know, you go through stresses and pains that a lot of people will never get to experience. Like your legs are all blown out, you're depleted, you're fatigued, you're a little bit dizzy, but you try to recalibrate and focus, and you have that goal and vision on mind, so you have to do it. Yeah, and that's when the self-talk comes into. Like you start, you know, saying it, let's go, I have to finish it, and you come across the finish line.
Yeah, I feel like whenever things get hard, that's when your real self comes out to you. Like you start to see like how you talk to yourself, how you see yourself. So like when you were running, like how were you able to keep that detached mind from saying, like, rather than like, instead of saying, oh, yeah, bro, it's hard, this is hard, like it's very hard, I'm struggling, rather than just saying, it's okay, just go. Like,
yeah, I've had those emotions definitely came up. I'm like, I can just stop this, right? I'm not doing it to prove anything to anyone besides myself. No one will even know. I can say I've attempted it, and you know, I didn't finish, but I still attempted. But I'm like, is that story I want to leave the legacy with? You know, I'm trying to prove to myself and the community to inspire mostly. I'm going to finish, and that's when I'm like, if it's a struggle, it's a struggle, and whatever it takes. Right? If I have to walk some of it, I have to, you know, put one knee down and put pressure on the other leg to finish, we'll do it. We'll get it done. That's when like the David Goggins mentality comes in a little bit. It's a little bit more, it's very different, right? Because then I'm like, no, I'm going to finish this. You know, they take your shirt off, and you're like, we're running this. You know, this shit's going to get done no matter what. Exactly. And then you start pumping yourself up like that. The subconscious is like, oh yeah, that's energy, let's go. And you see, when those negative emotions come around, let's say mile 19, 20, when I have like another 6 miles left, 5 miles left, I look around. And then you realize you're like, that's when you see like a disabled person that's trying, or a person in a wheelchair running, you know, cycling the marathon. And that's what motivates me, those last miles, and gives me energy. Because I'm like, those people are trying out and putting effort where, someone didn't wake up today in a hospital. They don't have that opportunity, God-gifted opportunity to run, to breathe this air. I'm like, Alec, no excuses. Put those little emotions aside, we're running it. And then you say that, it happened, you finish.
Yeah, that's like a very, very inspiring story that you're telling. You said you were running with David Goggins. Like, what did you notice about him that you felt like it was a very interesting observation?
Yeah, David, so I met him a couple of years back. I ran one of his charity legs. It's a 4x4x48. So every 4 hours, you run 4 miles for 48 hours. It comes out to like 130 miles. And you do this throughout the night, right? So you do it, you take notes as you run. And I came across one of his posts. He's going to be here in Oxnard, Ventura. I'm like, I'm definitely going to be there. So I show up there and I met him. Such a humble guy. Like, he waited in line because he was making a tour of all the LA cities by the beach. He was going to go to like Santa Monica, Malibu. He's like, I'm not leaving here until I meet every single person in line. He told his wife, Jennifer, at that time, Chris Jennifer, he calls her. And I'm like, this guy is amazing. I told him, like, he's one of the biggest people that have changed my life, to think that way and to push the body and the mind. But just how humble he is and how achieved he is and how he's a human. He's like, he treats humans like human beings. That's what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. He took his time with people. He wasn't rushing them. He's like, listen to your story. Thank you. Signed books. Puts his hand around, you can shake his hand. There isn't like it's very like a brotherly, friendly thing, and that's amazing. It's remarkable.
I see. Yeah, because like sometimes on social media, as I said, like people perceive things differently, and you see like whenever like certain people with like a certain level of dedication to a certain craft, let's just say running or fitness, there's gonna be usually people that are like they're gonna be finding that obsession a bit crazy. Mm-hmm. And then I've seen clips online or videos online that like they've talked about like David Goggins a certain way, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever, but I'm saying like I've observed things, and I feel like a lot of people can't really comprehend that level of obsession because most of us, most people in general, we're like kind of comfortable with being like doing the normal things,
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like again, I'm not here to judge, but
it's to each their own.
Exactly.
That's what I say.
But I feel like whenever those people like do those obsessive things, people like kind of get like, well, what is this guy doing? This guy's crazy, I feel like it's the same thing with David Goggins.
And the same thing probably for us, they've said too. I know they've said that for some of my videos, right? Because I took the David Goggins mentality and literally lived in it for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. It's very uncommon amongst the uncommon, he says. So it's a very different. No one should understand you when you're in your David Goggins mentality fully. That's the way it should be. Because if you're trying to get ready for something that great, you have to go to that extreme level, and you're gonna stay there for a while until you get that goal done. It's just, and he says that in his book, the second one, Never Finished. He says like you become so unbalanced to the extreme, but what they have to understand, the other people that aren't on that extreme wavelength for that certain amount of time, is that's what I had to do, or he had to do, to get to that certain goal that requires that extreme level. Yeah. Because if you don't take it there, you're not going to be able to run that or do that extreme training. It's impossible. Like you can't have a functional life, let's say a relationship, build a business, and train in a Goggins mentality. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. That's why you have to, you narrow that down and you give more energy to the other areas and you balance it out. But when you want, you tap back into it. At least that's what I'm learning too.
No, that's 100% true. Because, like, if you want to be like a certain level of, let's just say athletes, right? Like the top athletes, they've gone through a lot of extreme training and extreme seasons in their life that all they did was just train, sleep, eat, train, sleep, eat, and that level of obsession most of the times comes with certain sacrifices. Like you cannot, let's just say, go to parties, or you cannot constantly spend time with friends, family, it's part of the process. And but to get there, you kind of have to do it because that's the work that a lot of people don't want to do. And when you do it, it's like obviously you're going to get that extreme results, but it's like it comes with a lot of extreme sacrifices.
Of course, because to the average person, and nothing wrong, average is such a subjective word, right? just because you don't train at this level doesn't mean you're average. Like to the person that perceives it that's extreme, they're living like a normal life, let's say, not average, normal life. Yeah, it comes off crazy. Like, why is this guy running 30 miles, in the forest or whatever? But like you're saying, it's the sacrifices. Like when I'm in my David Goggins mentality, I didn't go out at all at night. You sleep early, you have to wake up. It's a complete different language, I say to some people, because it's like, you're not going to understand it. You're eating like 4 meals, everything's scheduled. It's just like work, but for the body and physical for that goal. That's the best way to put it.
It's basically like a system.
Yeah, it's like you're working just like someone works at a desk, clerk, or whatever occupation is. It's the same thing, but you're doing it in that training for that goal.
Yeah, it is a job, as you said.
Yeah, it's a job.
Like whenever, let's just say you want to gain muscle, lose fat, it's like this has to be on point, this has to be on point, your sleep, recovery. And those are the things that they don't go notice. People always see, let's just say the run, the muscles, the accolades, but
the cars, let's say, right?
Exactly.
They see the end product.
Everything, it doesn't even apply to fitness, everything in all aspects. It can be like a student going to getting a certain degree. People see the degree, they're like, oh wow, but they don't see the countless hours of not sleeping, And I think no matter which field you are, if you really want to be one of the best or the best, that you just have to sacrifice things.
Yeah.
And the more you sacrifice, I know it sounds a bit more, I guess, hard to understand, but the more you sacrifice, the bigger the result is going to be. But also, there's going to be probably a bigger gap between you and the people who don't sacrifice, because it's going to be very unorthodox to do those things, So you're going to get different reactions regardless, just like David Goggins.
Yeah, it's exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. You're gonna get judged either way. I love this because I saw one of the mentors I follow, Sean Whelan, he was saying this. So if someone's very skinny, they're gonna get judged. Oh, he's not eating enough. Someone's too jacked, oh, he's taking steroids, right? Someone's a little bit fat, oh, he's too. So they always have something to say. That's the human brain is wired, unfortunately like that. So you have to figure out what works for the individual, right? And then people like us will just share our experiences. Hopefully, you guys can learn and expand on those experiences, and that's what you pay it forward. It just translates, and then lives get changed.
For real, man. It all starts with a decision.
Yeah, it's your one decision to change your life. Literally, one decision away. They say, one of my mentors, Bedros Koulian, you're one decision away to change the trajectory of your life. It's so true. One decision, one person away. You meet and you don't know who he or she is, right? What connections they have, this, that, and tomorrow you can wake up and you're in a different place, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, everything. It's all connected. So how I heard about Bedros Koulian was attending one of the real estate seminars in San Diego. I think it was 2019 or 18, Scale and Escape Summit. And I've attended probably 15 of those since I was 16 to 24. Very different approach towards life and money and capitalistic more, The school system is great, but it's not for everyone. It's to each their own, like we say. You have to find, right, in the individual. The bottom line is what's going to make you happy. Hopefully those are something good. Oh, someone tells us, Alec, smoking makes me happy. Yeah, but, jamming your face in pizza makes you happy, or donuts. That's not what we're trying to see. This is like a greatness. Happiness, longevity, fulfillment, exactly, purposeful living. I'm like, the school system is good, but it's not for me. I see the world differently. I want to make money. I want to inspire lives. I want to leave a legacy. So I started attending real estate, mindset, coaching, this, that, Ed Milet, Bedros Koulian, bumped into Grant Cardone. One of the ones that is very that changed the trajectory of my life was the Scale and Escape Summit. Kent Collier is a real estate wholesale. He talks about more buying a property, flipping it. And then guest speaker was Bedros Koulian. I'm like, who's Bedros Koulian? Armenian, big jack guy, good energy, comes on there, rips the stage apart. I'm like, okay, this guy I have to go follow on Instagram. Went followed him, and I came across this training course he created for men called the Modern Day Night Project, the MDK Project. At that time, I was probably 20 years old. So I'm like, it's $12,000. I'm 20 years old. yes, I'm blessed. I have good parents, good surroundings, but I'm not going to ask my parents for that money because I want to go through this course. So whenever I finish it, no one can say anyone helped them on the way. I want to have it the hardest way possible so no one can talk shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm in good shape. 20 years old, I sign up. I'll do it in a year and a half when I'm 21. And that's what happened. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to come up with the 12,000? So I sold my car. I was driving a M240i, car maxed it, started working Uber Eats and recycling. Went and got a Chevy van, and then I got a second van, Transit Ford. I'm like, I'm going to collect bottles and cans from all the restaurants I go to. It was a good idea. So I scaled that to like 55, 60 restaurants alone. And I'll collect their cardboards, I'll collect their bottles. All the CRV ones where you can claim back with the state, making like a couple of $100s a day. I'm like, this is awesome. A young entrepreneur, getting your hands dirty and doing Uber Eats. At that time, Uber Eats, the rates were very good. Like one order was like $18, $19 for like 10 minutes, bro. There wasn't that much traffic in the city too. So I'm like, 2-3 orders, you're stacking like $70, $80.
See 19 days, right?
Yeah. So it's, I saved up to the 12 grand, paid myself through the project, and there I am, 21 years old. I'm like, I knew going into it, my life's gonna change. Like, regardless of what happens, if I quit, God forbid if I get hurt, my heart stops, I can say I've done something that a lot of people will never get to do. So I show up there, I'm like, yeah, I'm here. First Armenian to ever go through it and finish it, especially at 21 years old, yet alone, and they stopped the course now, so. They take our phones away, and there we go. Hour 1 started. We go through all these different evolutions with its retired Navy SEALs, Marine Corps guys, Jiu-Jitsu experts, SWAT operator. So everything they've learned, they dump onto us in the next 75 hours, minute on the minute, brother. Like action-packed, jam-packed, emotional regulation through the roof, right? They're yelling at you, they're telling you this, they pull us out of certain evolutions, put us in rooms, focus. It's very because business is like that, right? There's 10 things happening. You might get sued one day, this is gonna happen, you're losing money, then there's this other, let's say, a case happening, your family, there's someone that's sick, right? Look at all the load you have to take on, right? Now, how are you gonna do that? So they put us in very high stress environments, hostage situation, in the ocean, ice baths, freezing. You're crawling, hundreds, thousands of push-ups, pull-ups. 55 started, 15 of us finished, to say the least. And I'm one of the 15, humbled to say I finished that course. And when I finished, I'm like, wow, you really don't realize what you went through until actually 2 years after. I still working on myself because it's so, different, right? Society doesn't operate at that intensity. So I'm, through the yoga and stuff, I had a little bit of anxiety finishing it, but that's normal because we went through something that, it's so different. But I interpreted that mindset because it showed me how great the human potential is. That's one of the big ones.
So that's one of the main lessons you learned?
That's one of the, how high our thresholds can be if we want to operate there. And we can break through those ceilings, those limitations that family, friends, naysayers have put on us. Sometimes you have put on yourself, right? We put limiting beliefs on ourselves. And that's one thing, if everyone can get, it's breaking through those ceilings. That's why I ran the 2 marathons after that. Participated in the 3 24-hour workouts for charity where we go 24 hours nonstop, unlimited sleep and, just resting, eating on the way. But that's because of that course, because it taught me the value of life and you have to push forward. Where you're going to be hungry, starved, depleted, overthinking. That's when the mindset kicks in. You still have to sometimes close that business deal, help the loved one out. You have to do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're going to be out in the cold. You're not going to have a jacket on. You're running out of water. You're running out of supplies. I tell them this, you're driving to Vegas, let's say. It's a summer day. Your car breaks down. Okay, the next exit is 10 miles out. You're with your family. They have a conscious choice. There's no service. Why do we do the dumbbell carries in the gym? They ask me, the farmer walk.
Yeah.
I'm doing that to mimic if I have to carry a suitcase or a loved one, whatever, hold something heavy and walk 10 miles. Can you have the stamina to do that? That's how I train. So to get ready for life, whatever life throws you, so you can somewhat at least know how to handle the load and stress.
You gotta be prepared. I remember it says, I think Patrick Bet David said this quote, it was saying, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
It's true.
And then, yeah, you said it perfectly, because I want to go back to the
MDK project.
MDK project. You said like a lot of us, we put limiting beliefs on ourselves, or some other people put on you.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to, number one, be aware enough that you understand, okay, this is limiting me, and number two, to break it?
So very crazy, interesting story. We're Armenian, right? So the Armenian approach, at least society, is, you have to be a lawyer, doctor, or businessman. Great fields. I have so many friends, doctors, lawyers. I love them. I love them a lot. I love those fields. But I'm like, I want to do something that a lot of Armenians don't do. And my grandma, she's like, we have to go pick him up I didn't tell my own family even that I'm doing this course, because I knew the response was going to be, I just told my mom and dad and my grandpa, because I'm like, those three will understand somewhat why I'm going to do it. If I tell, and like 2 other close friends I have, if I start telling the community before I go do it, they're going to think this guy's lost his mind. Why would you go do that, right? Why would you even go willingly pay that much to put yourself through that, not even knowing that? I'll show you a picture. I was running infections on my legs. My elbows are all cut up. Like, it's that level. But it's because I wanted to do a different approach towards life. Different lessons can be learned. Like David Goggins says, we need the lawyers, pharmacists, businessmen. We also need the savages. We also need this fucking guy that's savage, because we need that mentality, that dog mentality, especially in our community, in our race, to hold things together when the pressure is on and to make correct decisions moving forward. Imagine if you have the savage, you have the lawyers, doctors, you're a bigger savage now. And you have the tighter community from all aspects of life that have learned their traits, and you can come together and, build something great. And that's why I did it. It was just to be different, to be known as the different guy. That's what I want to be known as, the legacy.
How were you able to, let's just say in those trainings when you were doing for that project, how were you able to kind of be aware enough to kind of say, listen, I know this is hard, it's mentally challenging me, but I'm going to push?
It's the team. That's what I learned. It's not about you, it's about the team.
The environment?
The environment. One of the retired Navy SEALs, Ray, was saying, so whenever we get caught up in ourselves, I'm like, this isn't about me. People think about my Instagram videos or, it's not about us. I had to go do the work, and I'm still working on it, just like you. We do the work to share it. Why do we do the work? Like we were talking off camera, right? So we're not hypocrites. So we somewhat know what we're saying, because they can say, okay, this guy's done the MDK project. This guy lifts the weights. He's jacked. He's run the marathon. Somewhat of his saying is from experience, clearly, because he's done the steps. He's done the work. So you're more trustworthy. You build value and trust. But going back to that, it's whenever I get stuck, and this happens a lot. So 75 hours, I'm like, how the hell are you going to get through it alone? It's impossible. The first couple of hours, your energy's there, and once you start depleting yourself of nutrients and sleep, like hour 15, hour 30, hour 40, you're done, bro. If you don't have your teammates to support you, I wouldn't have finished. They grab my hand, they're like, Alec, get your head straight. My middle name's Dawson, so like, Dawson, get your head straight. I'm like, okay. He's like, you're gonna finish this shit, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finish. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finish. He's like, you're not going to quit? I'm like, no, I'm not going to quit. And there's this legendary picture I have on my Instagram. Bedros Koulian actually came up to me. It's like this. As we're lined up in the formation, he's, telling me, he's like, you're not going to quit? I'm like, no, sir, I'm not going to quit. And that's what it comes down to. Mm-hmm. Because we say, if you're quitting on yourself, your family, your fate, your finances. You're quitting on everyone that believed on you. Is that what kind of story you want to tell people, right? I attempted it. Yeah, attempting is good enough, but imagine saying I didn't quit and I passed it. I'm like, that definitely sounds better too.
100%.
I'm like, I want to tell my friends, my community, that I didn't quit. I didn't quit on them. I didn't quit on myself. I didn't quit on my loved ones and everyone else that believed in me, in that course and in the world. And that's why, as I start reminding myself whenever I'm sleep deprived and tired and shaking and bloody and, pissing down on your pants, for the kids watching, this might be a little thing, but that's what it takes. If I'm going to be very real, it's not a very beautiful scene when you're going 75 hours. I don't think they understand, right? Like, it's a very different approach. It's the Goggins mentality. It's very extreme. Especially girls watching, they're like, oh, it's scary. Why would he do that? I would want my man, if I was a girl, to know those certain skill traits, how to handle that kind of stress and load, right? That's why I did that. Because when I did that, I can transition those mentality into the world. And I'll tell you a good example of that, brother. I talked about it on my thing too. Calm day, right? Look how it changes on a dime. It's a coffee shop in Hollywood on Hillhurst. 7:30 a.m. and we're standing there. 3-4 people, some crackhead walks in, completely, right? From a level 0, we went to a level 100 right now. This crackhead walks in, boom, punches some guy in the face. So me, because I have somewhat training, right? I look, I'm like, oh shit, there you go. The problem just came and dumped it right on me now. Because he's like, and he did that and he's running to the other girl now. He's gonna like literally gonna punch the next guy in the face, the next girl. I'm like, whoa, what's going on, right? So I just instantly responded. I'm like, some guy took him down, another jiu-jitsu guy, and I helped him out. We tied his legs up and stuff. We sat down. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? You know, that's not. You just sock someone in the face. You know, that's not cool. And you're saying you can hurt this other girl. You want to do harm? Not when we're here. You know, I'm not going to save the world, but that's not happening on my watch. Because that could have been someone's daughter, someone's sister. That could have been my sister, you know, you just go and punch in the face random. That's not happening. But that's the training, that's the emotional regulation where you can respond, God forbid, when you're with your family, when you're with your loved one, when you're alone especially, and something like that happens. How are you going to handle that situation, that scenario? That's the training.
Yeah, that's like, again, you're just preparing yourself.
Those are real life examples, yeah, I'm sharing. It's the preparation.
It gives you like a different level of confidence whenever certain things may happen. Like, you know, you're not going to be at least a victim. You're going to be able to at least do something rather than nothing. You know, you can maybe, you know, save a person or, you know, help out somebody, you know, stand up for somebody. That level of confidence allows you to, you know, carry yourself differently, number one, and also respond to different situations. As you said, like someone random just walked in a coffee shop, started a fight. You can handle it. Yeah,
or in property management, let's say. And before I even see the property management story, I'm not trying to be a hero. Because like Jocko Willink, he's a retired Army Ranger SEAL. He says the toughest guys, the best thing to do when a fight happens is run. And I couldn't agree with that more. Get out of there, because you don't know who's behind it. You don't know how many people there are, right? Yeah, you can be trained as much as you want, but you don't know if there's a car of 10 guys waiting outside for you, armed, right, to the T, dangerous, especially in today's world. Leave. But if it's like you're stuck and your imminent life is in danger, now you have to, you know,
if there's
I can't just watch and film someone, you know, punching someone in the face and not do something. That's not who I am, you know, to the core value of me. It's just like, that's not going to happen. I saw a video of like, this guy's punching a girl in New York subway. I'm like, those guys that are filming are cowards. No one stepped in. They're laughing. How can you do that as a guy? I'll take the assault charge if they're going to say that, the judge. But if I'm saving someone's life, shit, I'd rather have taken the assault charge and not watch someone punch someone in the face and all they're doing is videoing. That's not happening. What kind of a man are you, right? As a man, you have to do some manly shit sometimes. Yeah. You have to tear some shit apart sometimes, and that's needed. That's the alpha dog in us. Yeah. Sometimes you have to raise your voice. Sometimes you have to let them know who's in the room and say, and it's not an ego thing, it's just knowing your confidence, knowing what you bring to the table. Sometimes ego is necessary, bro. It's not, they take that the wrong way. It's not about the ego, I'm better, I'm this, my chest. No, it's about your abilities, like you're saying, confidence, emotional regulation. Knowing who you are, that's the real deal. Knowing how to shake people's hands, right? Pat them on the back. Oh, nice to see you too. I saw you working out there. Oh, yeah, take care, bro. Like, that's charisma. Those are all important traits you need. You need to be soft, but you also need to be sometimes a hard ass, I say. Because if you want to get shit done, that's what it's going to take, especially in the business world. Like property management, we get faced with 10,000 different things at the same time sometimes. But it's not all fun and games. Sometimes I have to be concrete and say, no, you're not going to do that. Or crazy situations, again, bro. Real life situations from fitness where we transition the mindset. We're collecting rent in Hollywood. It's a known tenant that's a problematic tenant. So we go there more wisely already, right? But as I knock the door, I never stand right in front of the door. I'm always offsetted like 4 or 5 feet. And this guy comes off crazy. He's like, oh, why are you guys here? This cussing and that. I'm like, bro, relax. And now he's going to see a different side of Alec. I'm not going to be friendly. I'm like, back off, don't come close to me. I don't know what you have on your hand. He has stuff he's holding. So that's a very, emotions are running high, but I'm still keeping it cool, right? And that's, if they can learn something from that, is you transition that into the world. So when someone cuts you off, you don't go chase them down the street honking, because that person can be armed. That person, you don't know who they are, right? You don't know what kind of day they're having. Their mother might have been diagnosed with cancer earlier that morning. For him now, or her, she or he doesn't have anything to lose, because they had the worst case scenario right now, and they don't care if they throw a bottle back at that car, or they're armed, they take a gun out and start shooting at you. That's how you have to always think of it like that.
There's no benefit of
there's no benefit. And some
reacting
people,
like that.
we learned in a CCW course, concealed carry course, with some of the sheriffs I trained up with. Some people wake up with the intent to do harm. Imagine how we wake up to do positive, right? Some people's psychology, unfortunately, is wired in a way where they literally wake up, today's focus is to go and hurt someone. So for all the viewers and everyone listening, you don't have to, get paranoid about that now, but especially like the ladies, you guys have to watch out, be careful. How you carry your purse, just be mindful and present in life, and that solves a lot of problems. But that's like, there's people out there in the world. That's when they say it's not all positivity, like we're talking fancy and rosy. It is not. It's not. People wake up with the intent to do harm. And you have to be a counter force to that. They say
and you never know when it can happen.
Counter force multiplier. Of course, you don't know. When you're least expecting it, that's when it's going to happen, usually.
Like a coffee shop.
Like a coffee shop. When you're present, your heart rate's calm, My mind isn't there to fight. I'm there to have an iced matcha and talk to, the friends, journal, read, and then I'm going to carry on my day. But then there was an obstruction in that. And but you have to just stay. It happens in the club too, bro. We're in Vegas and, people think I don't go clubbing. They just think I do fitness and, like you're saying, that's just one side of me. Just because we don't show it doesn't mean that I'm a normal human like everyone else. It's just, that's my passion. I show, they're like, this guy doesn't have a life. They say all that, or he just pushes. We have the tables in Miami. We've had great times. It's just, I don't care to post them because that's not like what I live up to and look forward to. It's like my purpose, and that's on the side. Whenever we go for F1 weekend or whatever. In this case, we were there, I think it was someone's 21st birthday. So this guy is, we're excess win, we're on the dance floor, and this guy, like bigger guy, ego, a lot of ego, like juiced up. He can't even turn his head. So he like bumps a little. I'm like, I left it alone, whatever. We go to the bar, and there was actually another retired Army Ranger next to me. I didn't even know that. He's a big guy, and he shoulder checks that guy too. And then we look at each other, me and that guy. I'm like, what's this guy's problem? He's like, no, leave him alone. It's not worth it. He's like, you're a smart guy. He's like, another guy would have went and, why are you, shoulder check? I'm like, do you really want to do that though in a club where you're trying to have fun, de-stress, right? Ego in us, because I want to rip that guy's head off. Why did you do that to me? Especially if you have a girl right by you. Oh, bro, why you touch me, right? I'm like, nah, bro, who cares? Let him have his way. And then we left it alone. He carried on. But then like an hour later, he came back. He like pushed another girl, a random girl. We don't even know her, on a dance floor. And I can see that, like, she's pulling away. He's like still pursuing. I'm like, bro, back off, it's someone's sister, someone's daughter. Like, if you're trying to talk to a girl and she doesn't want to talk to you, clearly you get body language signs. What do? You just stop, you divert the conversation at least. But if you're like pursuing, it's like, clearly you don't understand. Like, maybe you should take it easy, right? Like, you shoulder checked us there, we didn't say anything. Now you're like making other people uncomfortable. It's not cool, right? Oh, he's like, whoa, what the fuck are you going to do? He came very hostile. I'm talking to him like a normal human. I don't want to. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to do anything, bro. You're a funny guy. I'm not here to fight. I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the security to remove you. And that's what happened. Simple. They just took him out. But that's why it's like you can choose which way to take it, right? And I'm like, I don't want to fight this guy. It's not why we're there. But that's the emotional regulation, again, from fitness, the discipline. Knowing how to do that, because it's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen in life and in the world, like we were saying earlier too.
It's just the confidence that you have in yourself and the trust, because as you said, no one's here to fight. You said you just want to get coffee, you just want to go shopping. You just want to dance, you know, like.
Yeah.
But like again, you never know who's gonna show up, when they're gonna show up, where they're gonna show up. So you just gotta be kind of like that warrior prepared in the garden, you know, like rather than like you know, gardener in the war. So
I was thinking about that quote.
Exactly. So like it makes sense what you're saying. I get it. Besides like Petrosculian, like are there any Armenian people that you kind of like look up to or you learn? Because I feel like I don't really know that many people. Maybe you can put me on some new people.
Patrick Bet David is one of them.
Yeah. Besides that, the
bigger, yeah. There isn't like that many that have a fitness mentality like, you know, us, like the Goggins approach. Just like us, actually, just friends in the fitness realm. We just learn off of each other, I would say. You know, there's some other real estate ones, smaller names I can't remember now. But yeah, no, it would probably be them too.
I guess that's like
off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's an opportunity then for us. You know?
For us to create a new channel, and that's the goal. I think it's to. People ask me a lot too, like, what's the eventual goal? The eventual goal is, right, to share our journey, to do the work, share it, inspire, and then whatever we create, a coaching program it might be you can have us speaking at your insurance firm, you can be us having, coaching your team, how to, you know, be disciplined, to finish tasks, so we can transition this anywhere.
100%.
In the near future, and that's where I think I see it going, actually. It's creating a group of like-minded Armenians, non-Armenians, to do amazing, badass shit in the world. And when we come back to it, looking, how did we all get there? It's because of fitness. That's why fitness will be the root principle of all of greatness. You can't, it's literally amazing. It brings people together.
For sure. I feel like the point of life is this is how I see it, is that everyone is here to experience life in a certain way. And whenever we are experiencing things in a certain way, we are growing the consciousness, the
100%.
Overall consciousness of, I guess, the world or life or whatever in general. So I think whenever people are able to grow themselves, they're able to upgrade themselves mentally, physically, spiritually. Number one, they're doing it for themselves also, but like because of them experiencing it, you're kind of also upgrading the consciousness, because whenever you do that, either directly or indirectly, you kind of make people notice you. And when people notice you, they either get motivated, they get kind of curious to say, what is this guy doing? Like, you know, you said people like, why is this guy running this much? Or like, why is he like doing this crazy stuff? You know, like people get curious, you know, like, so.
Why is he pushing his body like
exactly?
My friends even told me the other day, like, why do you sign up for a marathon? He's like, do they pay you? I'm like, Arthur, actually, I had to pay to sign up. He's like, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah. But I said, it's a unique people. There's only a couple of thousand people that could attempt that, right? That's why I do it. Like you're saying.
100%.
It's very different, yeah.
What's after everything that you said, like I always ask this, like most of my people that I do videos, what's like a quote that you live by?
Do what others won't so you can have what others don't. It has to be one of my favorite ones. And I get probably a controversy saying it, but are you doing the opposite or different things than everyone else? If you're doing the same as everyone else, how do you expect to have a different result? If you want the Lamborghinis, the Bugattis, the Porsches, the houses, like the fantasy that Instagram world see, right? The girls clickbait. We could talk about this for hours and days too. Like they see the reels, right? The yacht, the money, and then the watches, and then like that's the fake level they want to live on. Yeah, but you don't know what it takes to get there, or what the guy had to go through. The years of trials and tribulations, blood spilling down his, arms and legs to get to that level, or his building phase. And that's why you have to do what others want so you can have what others don't. And it's the same with fitness. Like when I see a jacked person and I'm like, that person is doing the steps necessary. Or a very wealthy person, I'm like, I want to learn from him or her. Clearly they have systems in place to acquire that level of wealth or level of status or whatever it may be. They have done something right. Go to the people that have done something right, that are doing what you want to do, and learn from them.
It's the intentionality behind what you do.
Move
to get
with
a certain result.
Presence and intention, right? That's like they're living on a subconscious mind, I think, people, bro. They just drift away. They're drifting away like a boat sailing alone on the ocean. They're just like, wherever the wave takes us, it takes us. Yeah, that's a good mentality, but you also have to be a little bit realistic. Like if you're not, I'm a big believer in fate. Recently, actually, I got into it more. I don't know a lot of the verses and stuff, but I also believe you also have to put the work in. If you put the work in with the prayer and the fate, you're unstoppable now. But if you just pray, don't put in any effort, it's even written in some of the verses and the videos, right? God himself says you have to put in the right direction, stay clean, live a clean life. The outcome will be abundance. You get hit with so much gratitude and greatness that you would never even expect it was going to be that much. That's what's at least happened with me. I'm like, I would never imagine, we're going to be sitting and doing this now, bro.
Great opportunity, number one, that you're here. And like, I feel like this type of collaborations, this type of, content in general allows people to, number one, get a different perspective on how people view things. Because I think instead of judging how we see things, like, some people view things differently. It's good to just observe, expand your consciousness,
expand your horizons.
Yeah, exactly. Like you think differently, I think differently, the viewers think differently. It's like, why is this guy thinking like this? Like, don't judge it, just observe. Like, what's the thinking process?
Yeah, of course.
And then, with faith, with being grateful, it allows you to understand. Listen, forget about the external things. We are already blessed internally. We have that abundance, and that abundance is our birthright. Given by God. So we need to, number one, embody that abundance and just live it, with our kindness, with how we are trying to, develop ourselves to, number one, make us more proud of ourselves, make other people proud of us, inspire other people, and just become our best selves, So I think if we apply that abundance that way, and rather than, just say we were mentioning going on social media and feeling like we're lacking certain things because we see certain content online, it's like, no, you're already blessed.
Yeah, and you're blessed. If you're lacking certain things, you have certain other things that the other person doesn't have. So each person is always, it's like that, right? Like you're saying, if you compare, social media is great if you use it as a tool to inspire lives, this, that, but it also comes with its downsides, just like everything else. So if you're going on there and you're seeing, oh, well, they're vacationing here. I'm not there. I wish I had this car. I wish I had that bag. I wish I had this. You've already created this molecule of negative emotions and garbage that's going to dump on you. If you hear yourself saying that, what do you think is going to happen, right? I'm ugly. I don't have it. I don't deserve it. I wish I had that. Okay, compare it now. I'm great. I'm grateful. I have energy. My family's blessed. I have money. I'm going to build that business. I have fitness. I have good friends. I have good Armenian brothers. I have a good community. Which one sounds better? Right? So it's very simple. I say positivity is very simple. Just talk to yourself that way. The outcome will be that way.
It's just flipping your perspective, because
that's it.
Your perception is going to be the projection in your life, And I think,
that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times we just look at the half cup empty, You're like, oh, we don't have this, but you have all these things, you haven't noticed, you have all these people, you have all these connections.
100 other things that the other person that driving that Bugatti doesn't have. We were actually in Beverly Hills the other day, and we saw 2 Bugattis going down the Rodeo Drive, right? I'm looking at them, I'm like, I respect it. I respect the person. I don't even know them. I respect the car, but we probably have certain other traits that person doesn't have. That's how it is, though. That's how it is. Yeah, that person might have a little bit more money in the Bugatti, but do they have this fitness mindset, this other connection, like you're saying, this other way of thinking? So it's to each their own. That other person might have this other sickness you don't even know, right? They're combating. So it's like, yeah, he might have the Bugatti, but you don't know. Maybe his lifespan is 2 years because he just got diagnosed with this other cancer. So you don't know what's going on internally, mentally, physically, the circumstances. So it's don't compare. Don't compare. Even though the human brain is going to go there, naturally, we're wired to. This happens in the gym too, right? One of my friends, he's like, well, that guy's bigger. I'm like, bro, why are you comparing? But that guy's journey is completely different than your journey. I might not be the biggest, but that guy maybe doesn't, he doesn't have ambitions to run a marathon now. When if someone's getting ready to run a marathon, they're in a leaning out phase. So I'm like, you saying that this person's bigger than you is completely such a stupid thing to say. Admire his build, let's say, is completely different, but don't compare yourself to him or her, bro. they're eating different way. I'm like, they're living a completely different life, even if they're in the gym healthy. The body compositions are different, right?
Different genetics.
The food they're eating is different. The sleeping weight, the sleeping environment. If you go into it, there's complete thousands
millions of factors.
Billions of other factors. The coffee they're drinking, the water. It's just, I mean, don't compare.
Exactly. So I was just gonna ask you, what's like an action step that you're gonna leave the viewers work? I want you to give your like an action step, and then I'll give you like mine for the viewers, something that they can apply like right now, because I feel like a lot of times, you know, already like just people watch things, right? They just watch, but they may even have like a slight desire, but they don't necessarily take action. Maybe it's because they don't know what to do, or maybe they don't want to do it.
Or to make the wrong decision.
Exactly.
The worst decision is not making any decision. My thing to the viewers would be the following. December's coming to an end. How many times have you told yourself, I want to start this business, I want to get this workout, I want to move my apartment, I want to live in this city, I want to do this, whatever it may be. I want to try this business idea, I want to go kayak, Paris, whatever, let's say, right? Do those things that are scaring you to, like, do those things that you're scared to do. Make that step. Make this year, the 2025, before going into it. Start right now. Don't wait until 2025.
Build the foundations.
Build it right now. Pick up the phone. You start doing content too. Why? They watch us. You can do that too. Do it. Talk to that person. Call 10 other cold calls if you want to for your business. Scale that shit out. Make money. Make a difference. Like, do it. If your mind is fluctuating whether I should or I shouldn't, think about it one more time. Don't take much more time. Write it down and get it done. That's it. If you want to run the marathon, run it. If you want to talk to this person, talk to that person. If you want to start that business, start that business. That's it. Like, stop overthinking, start doing. So less thinking, more doing. That's one of my mentors, Alex G, told me. Because we get caught up in thinking so much where you end up not doing anything. I'm like, that's so true. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? We already created what 3 ifs when there's nothing even created. You created certain problems when there was no problem created. What if it can go correctly? Think about it that way. What if I try it, okay, I lose a little bit of money, let's say, or I lose a little bit of time. Okay, so what? You learned, right? That's it. You learned either way.
Exactly.
Start right now. That would be.
So you're saying just make that decision.
Make the decision, go head on. I think you should go head on. Those days of playing it comfortably, if you have to, go head on into the problem this time. Like, whatever it may be, I'm going to solve this problem. Every time you're in that situation, I'm going to solve it regardless of the...
All in, burn the boats.
All in, burn the boats. There's no coming out. You're going to figure it out. There's no other way. Move with intention, move with intensity, move with passion, purpose, of course, and then back off when you need to. That's a different skill. You learn as you go, right? We all learn. Because if you need to back off, then you have to back off. You have to learn that. But like, let 2025 start differently.
I'm just going to add something that you said because I wanted to complement what you said.
Thank you.
And you said, make that decision. I'm going to say, when you make that decision, already put your mind in a state of that thing has already been done. And operate as that version of you that already completed that. So just put yourself, like, feel it, think about like who that person is, like how did that person do it? Like, let's just say, for example, you want to lose 100 pounds. Go to the end point already in your mind. It's like, what does that guy do? And just reverse engineer and just copy paste. That's what
I was telling you earlier. I do that with the marathons and stuff. So one of the ones I want to attempt is Leadville. It's a 100-mile race. I don't think any other Armenians ever attempted it. At least I couldn't see it on the roster. So I want to be the first Armenian to attempt that, right? 100 miles in Colorado. The elevation is, I think, 14,000 feet. So you're losing oxygen naturally because it's harder. The air is thinner. I've already put myself mentally on the finish line of that race. Before I'm there physically running, I'm like, I'm already starting to put a team together. Who's going to be on my medic team? What is it going to take to train there? How much money do I need to save? Because I'm not going to probably be working. Running 100 miles, you're going to have to recover a certain way. You can't just come back and tomorrow you're on property management duties running up a flight of stairs. But I've put myself in the end destination. I've already started. I'm like, okay, it's going to be, I have 3 other friends that have completed that race from the project. So I'm like, they will be on the medic team. One of them is a firefighter, paramedic. He's definitely going to be on my team. See what I've done? I've created this in my head already. Where before I even attempt it, I've already attempted it kind of mentally.
You're ready.
I'm ready. So when I show up there, mile 100, there's 99 miles left. I'm like, we're ready for this, Alec. We're ready. Because there's
Yeah.
months of thought, months of planning, months of mental preparation more than physical. It's all mental. The body can handle it. It's the mind that gives out first.
I guess that's like a perfect way to sum it up. Make that decision, number one, and just put yourself already at the finish line and just
Yeah.
go backwards. Reverse engineer and just copy paste. That's it.
Correct. Reverse engineer, take notes down, and then you're set.
That's it, man. Pleasure to
set.
have you on, my man.
Thank you,
A lot-
brother.
You shared a lot of great wisdom. I think viewers can, number one, like apply, learn, and hopefully, we can see some progress. They can share their own results, their journeys, and I hope like our community starts putting themselves more out there, because at the end of the day, we all experience things differently. So as long as we are able to share with one another, we can grow as like a community.
That's what it takes. And take the judgment, move forward. We, like you were saying, we see life differently. Nothing wrong with that. To each their own. Whatever they take from it, which there's, I think, valuable information, non-biasedly saying, that's confidently saying, they can change their life. I really believe it. I really believe
Absolutely.
people can change their life based on today's conversation and all the other conversations we've had and they've listened to. Both of our channels and everyone else. There is a lot of great information. They just have to apply it too. If we can leave
That's
it with
it.
one thing, you have to apply.
Apply what you learn.